Welcome back to the Fox Robbins Business Show. Great to have you back. Come on in. Here's another Fox Robbins episode. We are a show that is intended to help and encourage small business. That's why this show is in existence. And we want small business to start up and grow and succeed. Small business is an engine of the economy that goes unrecognized sometimes. And the coach and I think that small business should be encouraged. We should be the helpers and the cheerleaders for that. So I'm the co-host of the show, Bill Fox, but the other co-host, and this guy, you won't believe this guy.
I don't even believe it.
He is spellbinding.
I am.
He is captivating.
Yes.
And he's magnetic. I mean, you stick to him.
Magnetic.
Coach Robbins.
I studied electrical engineering. I know what the magnetic part means.
We're going to, one of the ideas we're going to talk about, you say start up a business. We've said this many over and over again, is there's a mentality that you start a business, you've got to start from scratch. No, you don't.
Right.
You do not. There's at least two other avenues, one of which is to buy an existing business. And Coach has said that there's a lot to look at because the so-called baby boomer generation, huge generation passing through the economy, are now at an age where they, if those who started and operated businesses want to sell them,
they are what I call sexagenarians.
Sexagenarians.
My wife thought that was a dirty word too. It means somebody in their 60s.
Oh, yeah.
Sexagenarian. But they are. They're getting to be 60 and getting to the age where they're thinking, I don't want to go on till I'm 70 doing this. I'd like to start thinking, which is a smart thing to do.
Right.
I think I'd like to sell the business in 3 years, 5 years, whatever number of years. Let me start to prepare the business for sale. So
you want to get into business, buy an existing business, or at the very least, look at it.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, that's one. Another major avenue toward getting it is a franchise. Coach, there are thousands of franchise deals out there.
Thousands and thousands. Everybody wants to franchise their business, but there are very few that are what we would call legitimate franchise.
Yeah, our recommendation, we will not recommend, say, whatever it is, grab it. I mean, as a franchise, forget that idea.
I'll tell you what they have to do. They have to go to the SBA.gov website and look on the website to see if the SBA, they don't approve franchises because they're a public entity, but they do look at franchises and say, this one's legit, this one's legit. Right. I mean, McDonald's, it's going to be there. Yeah. Burger King, Dunkin' Donuts, those things are there because they're legitimate franchises, but there are a lot of franchisors out there, and people come to me and say, I'm thinking of buying this franchise, and I go, really? Why? Who are they? They're not doing anything for you, Right. So you got to be careful.
Well, and I didn't do this. I didn't do it, but I have close personal friends who got into a franchise deal. It was a employment agency type business.
Yeah.
Body hunting.
Yeah.
Or head
hunting.
Head hunting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they that they took a bath, but I'm killing my own topic. I mean, I'm saying, franchise.
No, I mean, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of legitimate franchisors out there. You just have to be careful that you pick one. Well, pick one that you're going to be comfortable running too. I mean,
right.
Go ahead.
Anyway, we're trying to say that it's an approach, it's an avenue, toward starting or getting into business. It's bona fide, it's legit. You have to be very careful, get good advice and study the matter, but take a look at it. There's also the funding. Got to have have bucks.
You got to fund it.
Gotta fund
Well,
it.
you know, I mean, if you're
And-
going to go into business, you got to have some money. You know,
Yeah,
somewhere. The money's got to come from someplace. You know, we've talked many times about the 4 Fs.
yeah,
The founder putting up all the money, if you will,
yeah,
if he or she could. Friends who might be interested in either loaning or taking an equity piece of the business. Family, mom and dad, you know, take their life savings and give it to you so you can buy or start your dream business. And then, of course, the fourth one is fools.
yeah.
So, you know,
Fools?
you might be able to get money from some of those folks to start your business, but
Why are you looking at me that way?
well, you never did do that. I certainly wouldn't.
The funding the franchise. By the way, I mean it occurs to me, you guys would say, well, just out of curiosity, you know, what would a franchise cost? That's like asking how high is the sky?
Yeah.
Because it's everything and anything that human beings can conceive. You know, you could have a so-called franchise opportunity that's $5, and you could have one, you know, that is, you know, 5 million
I've seen 3 million.
or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't say, well, you know, well, how much is it? I mean,
Which one?
That's not an answerable question.
Yeah.
It is. You have to focus down. You could focus on types like restaurants and tax services and massage parlors and all kinds of different stuff. You can narrow it down by type and say within a type of business, such as a pizza, you know, a pizza deal, what that might be. I would say, at the very least, you should be, Coach, I'm going to say, you should be prepared to be thinking about anywhere from, say, 50 to 250,000.
Yeah, that would be a general range
General.
for a decent franchisor or a decent brand name that somebody might recognize, because let's face it, the reason you're buying a franchise, hopefully one of the reasons is that when you hang your shingle out, people know that brand here on, you know, here in hometown USA. There are far too many franchisors out there. You've never heard of any of them, you know. But I mean, like I say, you've heard of McDonald's, you've heard of Wendy's, you've heard of Dunkin', you've heard of, Serve Pro. You know, they don't do food; they clean up after disasters. There's a lot of well-known franchisors out there.
So there's plenty. Coach has got a great point. There's plenty of franchise deals out there to appeal to you. I mean, there are various different types of businesses.
The other thing is there are people out there that will help you determine, based on your personality, kind of like a personality exam, they'll walk you through to try to figure out just what kind of a franchise would you really feel comfortable running. It may not be food. It may be something in the service area. It may be something in the headhunting business. It may be something in the cleanup construction business like Serpo. But there are consultants that you can go to, and some of them do the work for free, that will help you identify a franchisor, an industry that you might be interested in, something that you might, be able to work in, and then they can help you find a franchise, and then maybe they get paid their commission once you buy a franchise. But that type of assistance.
Also,
available.
the internet. Don't forget the great and glorious internet. You go on the internet, and there's well-known, like Entrepreneur Magazine, Fortune Magazine, Inc.
The top 25 franchises of 2017. They're all listed out there.
They're all listed. So, what we're going to talk about is not selecting your franchise of your heart's desire, but we're going to get into. Coach and I want to talk a little bit about funding.
Yeah.
Okay?
Once you have decided that A, I like this type of industry. B, I seem to fit. Even hopefully, if I've had some experience in the business, would be nice too.
Yeah.
I always say to somebody, wouldn't it be nice to pedal somebody else's bike before you go and buy your own new one and wreck it? Learn to ride a bicycle before you go buy a bicycle, so to speak. And but once you have decided, you've looked at a few, and you've narrowed it down. Now you want to buy A, B, C, the franchise. Now you got to get the money to put it together.
Right. And I want to step you through some ideas. A fellow named Jeff Elgin wrote an article on financing. And number one idea is what he calls direct financing, Coach. Such as a franchise company providing direct financing. If that were, that's very few, isn't it? I mean,
well, it was much more popular in the beginning, maybe a decade ago, when the whole economy collapsed worldwide. And a lot of franchisors were saying, well, I don't want to slow down my growth. And we have a good franchise. You know, they would obviously feel very confident about the viability of their own franchise model. And maybe we need to loan money, because they'd probably borrow money to loan it, or, as it says here, just guarantee somebody's debt to help them get into the business. But the rules still apply as far as, you know, the 5 C's of credit, and the one they'd be looking at is your contribution. They're probably, I've not ever seen one that would finance 100%. I've seen them willing to finance 50%. You know, the article basically said, and franchisors are becoming more amenable to doing this. Well, they were up until maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, but now that the market's, you know, not totally recovered, but certainly doing a heck of a lot better than it was, there are fewer of them available that are willing to either franchise directly or co-sign your note. So,
but it's worth asking, of course.
If you don't ask, they'll never probably tell you. That's for sure. They'll let you struggle on and, you know, put it together yourself.
Promissory note for an initial fee, more extensive. There's the author says there's more extensive lending from stronger franchisors.
Well, that's what I said. If they're comfortable with their franchise, the strength of their business model, the strength of their, you know, do it my way or it's the highway, and they know that the level of success that they've had because of the strong brand they've created, then they might be willing to step in and say, no, we believe in our franchise, which isn't a bad thing for you as a franchisee. And they might be willing to step in, but like I say, I've seen.
Well, you don't know until you check into it.
Right.
You have a franchise company, and they want to be operating in a certain area.
Yeah.
How do you you know, who knows? And you say we want to be in Idaho.
Right.
We're
not in Duluth.
I just picked it out of nowhere, but
that's in
you know,
Minnesota.
so that franchise, you talk to the franchise and say, okay, I'll open in Idaho.
Yeah.
Or somewhere, you know, and that would be an idea.
Well, I can think of that Southern California burger chain that wanted to open in Illinois. McDonald's, that's right.
McDonald's.
Ray Kroc, he wasn't in Southern California. He opened in, you know, general Chicago area. They wanted to start having some franchisees in that area, and they were very amenable to getting him started.
So they were willing to open the wallet for that?
They were willing to do anything that Ray wanted up front, and then of course if you know the story or you saw the movie, you see how predatory Ray Kroc was.
Yeah. Okay, so direct financing is one idea, Coach.
Yeah.
A second idea, number 2, for stepping into your franchise opportunity would be what's called third-party lenders. That's indirect financing, leasing, third-party lenders, or a guarantee from the franchisor, not actual money, but you know, a loan guarantee type thing.
Yeah.
Third-party lenders. What do you think about that, Coach?
Well, I mean, again, what we were saying, I was really jumping ahead in the first part. If the franchisor, and I doubt in today's economy you'll find many, if you could find any, that would be willing to loan you the money. You may go to a bank and you may say, look, I need $1 million to do this franchise, to get it built out, to give them their franchise fee, to, you know, build the location out, build my pizza parlor, build whatever the heck it is, put the desks in place, start up, hire some people. But I need $800,000, and the bank says, well, you know, your 5 C's don't check out, you know, credit, cash flow, collateral, credit rating, you know, that type of thing. but the franchisor might be willing to step in and give a guarantee to the bank
Yeah.
that 800, you put up 200, that 800,000 is going to be guaranteed to the bank, or maybe guarantee half of it to the bank.
Yeah.
Third party, like the SBA, they don't loan money, as we've had some shows with the
Yeah.
SBA director on. They don't loan money. They say to the lender, okay, here's the deal. The borrower is going to put up $200,000. You're going to loan the borrower $800,000, and the SBA is going to guarantee, let's say in this particular case, 50% of that.
Right.
That makes it less risky for that lender.
Right.
So instead of the SBA, it could be the franchisor that could step in and say, okay, we'll guarantee all or a percentage of that to get the deal to go through, to make
Right.
the bank feel more comfortable that if the borrower doesn't pay them back, how are they going to get clean? That's all the bank wants to know today.
Don't forget in all of this, you, the borrower, have to have the bona fides to back up the
Absolutely,
deal.
absolutely.
Even if there's participation, be it, you know, from the franchisor, from a
Yep.
bank, or from the
You need
and the SBA. Don't forget the good old the SBA. Again, like the coach has said many times, the SBA doesn't give you any money, but they will go to your bank if you are a qualifier and you're good for the loan, but the SBA will tell the bank, okay, we'll cover 50% of that loan
Right.
if it goes south,
Right.
right?
Yep.
Okay. Let's go on to one of your favorites. Is idea number 3 for stepping into a franchise deal would be angel investors. What's that, Coach?
Well, angel investors, I always thought it was, I should say actually devil investors, but that's a different story. Angel investors are people who are rich, probably, and they want to get richer, and they're willing to put money into businesses based on certain parameters. They're not high risk takers, but they're probably going to be more of a risk taker than a lender, a bank. Banks aren't risk takers.
Right.
End of story. Banks get angry. Oh, of course we're risking. No, you're not. You don't take risks, but at 5 or 6%, how could they afford to take risks, you know? But an angel investor might come in and want 14% and 4 points up front to cover all the legal fees and all kinds of guarantees, but when you can't get money from somebody else, you may have to go and get what we call hard money, which is a little bit more expensive, but if you don't take that, then you don't get the deal at all.
Right.
And an angel investor will typically either give you a loan for what you need to get this deal done, and in this case, purchase this franchise, or in any other case, anything that they feel comfortable that they're going to make their money on. And there are deals, as the article says, that an angel investor, especially if it's a business that has potential scale to it, meaning it's going to grow like crazy,
Yeah.
they may have a deal that says, I'll loan you some money, and then maybe some triggering event which I can convert all a part of it into an equity position in the company if the company really takes off, and even at that point maybe put in another bunch of money. So angel investors, they're going to be more expensive than lenders, third party, whatever lenders. They're going to be far more than 4, 5, 6%. But if it's better than saying no deal, if I borrowed, I wouldn't mind paying an angel investor 20% if I'm going to make 35, 40% on his money, you know?
Right.
It's not a single value equation, right? So if you got to go out there and you're trying to borrow money and you're trying to get it from a bank at 5.7%, the bank says no, and the SBA won't guarantee, and franchisor won't, then you got to turn to some private angel investor saying, yeah, I want 14% because there's a risk reward return that he's taking because he feels it's a little more risky.
This angel thing, how do you find these people, Coach?
Well, they're not listed under A in the phone book, unfortunately. Yeah, they're hard to find. I mean, you can go to there are angel groups listed all over the place. You can look them up online. The best thing to do is get out and network with some people who are angel investors. They have meetings, particularly in our area in eastern Massachusetts, and you got to just be introduced to them. A lot of banks will say, look, this isn't a deal I would touch. But here are a couple of angel groups that might be interested in your deal. I've had that happen where a bank says no, but they say, here's an angel group that might be interested in your deal, and they come forward, and again, it was a 14%, 4 points up, 14%, and 3 years, and no cancellation of the deal just because you become successsul. Right. These are wealthy people who are risking their money at a much higher rate.
Pay attention to what the coach is saying there, that the angel, a so-called angel investor, but the that person or group of persons, they would be advancing or putting up their own money.
Yeah.
As a contrast to the bank. You guys, you've heard it so many times. Why don't the bank give me any money? Why don't they think this is a great idea and give me some money? The bank is not lending its money. The bank is lending somebody else's money.
Depositors.
It's the nature. You guys got to understand the nature of things. That banks receive deposits. They don't let the money sit there. They take deposit money and they lend it. That's the old mechanism.
Right.
But they're lending not their own money, but somebody else's money. So what? Well, the answer is that they have to be the nature of banking is that they need to be super conservative and super cautious that any place that they lend money, that there's a close to 100% guarantee that it's coming back.
A fiduciary responsibility, right. And the government, the rules that banks have to.
So it's you wonder why didn't the bank? I get this great idea. Why won't the bank give me money? It's because they're not a risky venture. The angel guy is.
Yeah, right.
The angel, because he's lending his own bucks.
Yeah.
But he also is going to charge more. It's going to be more expensive.
A lot more.
Or tougher terms, like I want a piece of the ownership.
Right.
And so forth.
Right.
The author here says an angel deal may be better than no deal.
That's exactly right. If you've gone to a bank, you've tried to borrow the money at 6%, whatever the rate is, current rate, and an angel comes along and says, I'll loan you the money, but I want 4 points up front for doing the deal and 14 points, 3 years, blah, blah, blah. And you look at it and you put it into your financials and you go, I'll still make good money. So that deal's better than no deal.
Don't forget, guys, it's the old pound of flesh. They want, you want somebody just to step up and hand you a check.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a slice of your body is going to get removed.
Right.
Face up to it. Okay, number 4 idea to step into franchising. The author says, how about low cost franchises, Coach?
Well, I mean, they're low-cost franchise probably means nobody's ever heard of it, right? And you're going to be part of the building of it. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, if we're 1960 and you bought a Wendy's franchise or something for short money, but and then you get in on the ground floor, and it's a great idea, it's a great company, and it's grown and it's appreciated, and I'm sure the people that bought Wendy's franchises in the 70s or whenever he started the company. But made out very, very well.
I know for a fact you've dealt with a lot of these deals.
Yeah.
I don't know all of your deals. I know one of them is that you helped a lady who started a business selling ecologically friendly products.
Right.
Eco.
Yeah.
She's an eco freak. A tree hugger, and she created a business for tree huggers.
Yeah.
But she also said, I don't want to just start the business. I want to create this business as a franchise deal.
Yep.
And she didn't have any name, no name, no backup.
Nope.
Really, not a track record of obvious documented success.
Yep.
Would you say?
No, she did not. But everybody has to start there. I mean, the Kentucky Colonel started there. He went around trying to sell franchises. So if you get in on a franchise and it looks like a good deal, and it's a good solid company that's willing to do all the things that a franchisor is supposed to do for you, which basically is to hand you a business model and say, do it this way and you'll be successful, because we've had, half a dozen others who have done it that way, then you probably can get in on the deal pretty cheap. But if you want to buy a well-known franchise, you're going to spend a lot of money. I had somebody just look at a Sonic franchise. I don't remember exactly what it was, but to build the Sonic and pay the franchise fee up front, we were looking at a couple of $1 million. I forget what the franchise fee alone was. I think it was $300,000. Again, I don't remember the exact number, but it wasn't cheap. But you know, you've heard of Sonics; they're all over the country.
Yeah.
You know?
They're from, I could be wrong, Oklahoma. They're from the Midwest.
I don't know where they're from. Yeah. But it's a legit franchise with a
It's
brand.
fast food. It's a fast food.
It's fast food, and they're advertising on TV. They're
right.
spending money to create a brand identity for the company.
Here, the author talks about no retail fixed locations. That would be like Snap-on Tools, where you have a truck.
Right, you
and
buy a
sell
truck
tools
with the tools and you drive around selling
auto
them to
shops around.
mechanics. Absolutely.
Okay, number 5 is savings. Savings.
Yeah.
Like your retirement plan saving, your 401k, right?
Right. Have you seen the new Domino's ads where they said, I sold my dream home to start my first Domino's?
Yeah.
Those things are real. But you know, you're going to have to make a contribution. One of the 5 C's of credit, which I've talked about for decades, is your contribution to the business. How much money are you putting into this deal? Well, I'm not going to put any money in the deal. Really? You don't really feel very confident about this thing. That's what other people who might put money in the deal are saying.
Right.
If you're not willing to put up your money, why should I put up mine? You know. So a bank today is looking at generally, and this is a generality, 20-25%. A bank would love for you to put up 50% and loan you the other half.
Yeah.
You know, loan to value. Sure, they'd love a 50% deal. That limits their risk and makes you much more committed to making sure this thing's successful, and you pay them back.
Right. Well, those are some ideas on stepping into a franchise. Think about it, look into it, and give us a call back.
Yeah, send an email.
Yes, send an email. Great to have you in on this episode. We've got to bring this one to a close. Again, this is the Fox Robbins Show. By the way, Fox Robbins shows are now on YouTube, on the internet. So you go to YouTube and just at the search box at the top, you know, type in one single word, Fox Robbins, FOXROBBINS, Fox Robbins. Click on search and bingo, there's a library of past shows that you can watch at your convenience, or send us an email, message, you know, compliments would be greatly accepted, suggestions, ideas and so forth, to foxrobbins@gmail.com, and we will see you guys next time.